Hey guys, quick video that Dji Fly 1.5.8 is out, and this is also applicable for the Mini 2. So this doesn't bring a new firmware update, but there are some additional Fly updates that you need to be aware of as well. And I've been testing this app and the performance on it is brilliant. So I was going to go through a couple of the features on screen first of all, and I'm going to show you a quick flight test. So you'll see on this screen here, everything is nicely kind of laid out, a bit more simplified now in some of the areas, and that's great to see. The battery icon and the RC icon is now in bold, so this stands out a bit better. It doesn't seem like much of an upgrade, but when you're outside, especially in daylight, sunny conditions, it makes a big difference. So the RC is in bold with a black highlight behind it, so it stands out more. Now if we look in the bottom right hand corner, now in auto mode for your res and FPS, we still click on that button there to switch over between 4K, 2.7K, 1080p. Everything there is exactly the same. So when we switch to pro mode now, you'll see the screen's gone dark. This is because of the settings. I'll change them in a second. But when you go to select any of those settings now, we get this new box. So everything is now simplified and easy to use on this box now. So I can adjust the ISO at the top just by sliding across. And then I can also do it with the shutter speed, so I can bring that shutter speed lower or higher. But rather than clicking on every single button, it's all nicely compiled in this one box to get to all these settings quickly. It's so much more streamlined and it's great to see. And then we click on the bottom left hand corner, we can now adjust the white balance by moving the slider again, or just simply keeping it on auto. We've also got access to the res and FPS here. We can change them settings directly within this. So it's great, it's nice and streamlined. It's not messy all over the place, not loads of different buttons. It's all just one big box, and that's great to see. Now on auto, the exposure value you can still slide across. That box only comes up when you select pro mode, but I've done loads of videos on how to get out of auto and get into pro, especially with ND filters, so now is a fantastic time. Exposure lock, you still just click on it once and then hold your finger on the screen to get the exposure lock on, and then just by double tapping the screen, that exposure lock will come off. The compass in the bottom left hand corner is nice and responsive. You can switch between compass and map. In regards to photos, videos, quick shots and panos, everything is exactly the same as it was before. There's no additional quick shots. The asteroid you might have seen is just for the Mavic 3, so nothing else is different there. And then also within settings, I did have a quick look through the settings menu, and from what I could see, there isn't anything different at all. Everything is laid out the same. There's no additional features, so that's great because we were happy with how it was before, so nothing's changed there. So in safety, just make sure that you return to home altitude, your distance, your height, their values might be reset, so change them. Along with your advanced safety settings, make sure that you've got your signal lost on return to home 90% of the time. Everything's the same there. And in control, you might, if you have a different LED mode, just click on that, make sure you've got it selected. I use breathing and I have it on blue. I find that light blue is the brightest. Upwards gimbal rotation, I always have that on. And then you might see underneath it here, you'll see gimbal calibration. I use that a lot, so it's great to see that that's still there, manual and auto. Phone charging for iOS, you can have that on or off. I most of the time have that off, to be fair, but you can select that on or off here. Now the button customization is still the same. I would like to see more options. It's still limited on options of what you can select by tap or double tap. I would love to see a tap button where we can change the speed of this to go from cine to sport. You can do that on the Autel drones. It'd be great if we could do it on here. You can change them, so just check them to see if you did have any, they are still there. If not, get them changed over. Still got advanced controls where you can customize the smoothness of the stick. You can do all that. Video subtitles on or off. If you want to go back and look at all the different on-screen subtitles of the flight you've just done, keep them turned on. Done a video before how to read that data. And then grid lines, I always have 1 or 2 grid lines on. I always have the rule of thirds on. And then everything else like transmission, live streaming, all that is identical. So in regards to the Fly app, it's more streamlined, it's really stable, and everything is laid out nicely. So that's brilliant to see. So let's go and get this now in the air. So looking at the Dji Fly app, you'll see all the icons are in bold, so everything is easier to see. We've got this Pro Mode set in here. Now I've got no ND filter on. Normally I would film an ND filter all the time. Just to dial in these settings better, you can see it's quite overexposed here using Pro, so it's going to keep it between Pro and Auto. And then the videos after this clip are all going to be using my own LUT. Now I have to say, from testing this on the Mini 2 and the Mavic 3, the Dji Fly app is fantastic now on this version 1.5.8. Everything is super responsive. You can see here now we're going to be in Pro mode, and this box here I think is fantastic. Just being able to change ISO, your shutter, all on the one area here. You know, it's super streamlined, and I love the way everything is just nice and simple, straightforward to get to. All the menus, we know where they are now. DJI seem to be now making this even easier for everyone to use on this Fly app. But as regards to performance wise, I've had no issues whatsoever with the DJI Fly app on this current version. Test it on iOS, so let me know in the comments down below on iOS and Android how you finding it. But yeah, super responsive. Every button, every icon we click on, it's there straight away. Brilliant, just what we want to be able to see. So just testing it for you guys as normal, going through all the different settings here. Everything is working as it should do. So we're going to test it in Cine. There was fine. Sports mode, again, super responsive, no lag, no issues, no app cutting out. This is just how we want it. So it's great that this edition has come. It's mainly for the Mavic 3, but it Mini 2 is still working brilliant. The zoom function on it working absolutely great. Look how fast and snappy that zoom is. Exposure lock, everything's working great. So no issues here at all. I did get a few people asking in regards to the quick shots about the asteroid. Now that is just on the Mavic 3. As you can see here in the menus, it's the same quick shots we had before. So nothing will come there. That will be a firmware update. I can't see any new additional firmware additions to the Mini 2 coming at all. But just by testing this out, just by dragging it around here, it works as it should do. So we have had previous versions before where there's been issues with stuff, but from my testing anyway, it's brilliant. So photos work exactly the same as before, so I'm just going to get framed up here over this, and then I'm going to just switch over now to photo and just take a couple of photos. So in auto, I'm just going to move that exposure down. That's one photo, and then you can just have these in auto, but I like to have them in JPEG and RAW, so then you can edit them as you wish, either go mental or just make minor tweaks. So everything in regards to the menus and everything is the same. FPV mode is still the same, that works. Do you use FPV mode on your Mini 2? Let me know. I mean, it's a bit of fun, isn't it? It's good to do, I suppose. It's great when you use those goggles I showed you the other month. That definitely makes the experience better, but it certainly doesn't mimic fully that FPV drone. And then return to home is working as it should. So as I do it now, it just rises to the altitude I wanted it to set at. It will come back to me. No problems there. So overall, this app here is working really nice. Everything is spot on as it should do, and it's a more streamlined, pleasant experience with the icons standing out more, being in bold, and that new Pro box where you can access all your settings. So big thumbs up there. Go and get it downloaded, and let me know in the comments down below how you are getting on. Take care.